Two apartments, same city, same neighborhood, almost the same rent. The first one belongs to someone earning $95,000 a year. Walk inside and you'll find a 75-inch television on the wall, a leather sectional that cost $4,000, a kitchen packed with appliances still in their original boxes, closets so full the doors barely close, a spare bedroom used entirely for storage. This person checks their bank account with a knot in their stomach. Two missed paychecks and they're in crisis. The second apartment belongs to someone earning $52,000 a year. Walk inside and you'll notice something different immediately. Space, a simple couch, a reasonably sized television, a kitchen with exactly the tools that actually get used, clothes in the closet that actually get worn. This person checks their bank account with calm, 18 months of expenses saved, 20% of every paycheck invested, without fail, same neighborhood. The person earning almost half as much has 10 times the financial security. This is not a story about income, it's a story about 6 rules that separate people who always have money from people who never do, no matter what they earn. Rule 1. Everything you own costs money twice. The first cost is obvious. It's the number on the receipt. But there's a second cost that almost nobody calculates, and it's often larger than the first. Take a treadmill. You pay $800 for it. That's cost 1. But a treadmill takes up roughly 20 square feet of your home. In most American cities, floor space costs $30 to $50 per square foot per year in implicit rent. That's $600 to $1,000 a year, just to store a machine that probably hangs clothes most days. Now take a boat. A $30,000 boat costs approximately $3,000 a year in maintenance, storage, insurance, and registration, even if it never touches water. Over 10 years, you spend $30,000 to own something you already bought for $30,000. You paid for it twice. The second cost also includes something harder to measure but equally real: mental energy. Every item you own occupies a slice of your attention. It needs to be cleaned, organized, worried about, insured, and eventually gotten rid of. Researchers have found that visual clutter raises cortisol, the stress hormone, and reduces your brain's ability to focus. Your stuff is stressing you out in ways you can't even consciously feel. And then there's opportunity cost. Every dollar locked in possessions is a dollar not growing. $15,000 in home gym equipment sitting idle could have been $15,000 in index funds. At 10% average annual return over 15 years, that's more than $60,000. You didn't just buy a home gym. You bought a home gym instead of $60,000. When you add up storage, maintenance, mental load, and opportunity cost, many possessions cost more to own than they cost to buy. The purchase price is just the entry fee. Rule 2. Calculate cost per use before every purchase. Before you buy anything, ask one question: how many times will I realistically use this? Divide the total cost by that number. That's your cost per use. That single calculation destroys most impulse purchases on contact. A $300 kitchen gadget you use twice a year costs $150 every time you touch it. That is an obscenely expensive way to slice vegetables. A $30 tool you use every single week costs less than 40 cents per use within the first year. Now flip it. A $2,000 mattress slept on every night for 10 years costs about 55 cents per use. That's extraordinary value for something directly affecting your health and energy every single day. Cost per use cuts through marketing, social pressure, and the feeling that something is a good deal just because it's on sale. It reveals what actually makes financial sense versus what just feels good in the moment. Rule 3. Never upgrade out of boredom. There is a pattern I see constantly among people who earn solid incomes but have nothing saved. They upgrade perfectly functional things simply because they're bored with them or because a newer version exists. Their phone works perfectly, but the new one has a slightly better camera. Their car runs without a problem, but the neighbor just bought something newer. Their furniture serves its purpose, but they've grown tired of looking at it. These upgrades feel like progress. They are wealth destruction dressed up as improvement. Here is the math. The average American replaces their phone every 2 to 3 years, usually while the previous phone still works completely fine. Over 30 years, that habit alone costs between $30,000 and $50,000 in unnecessary spending. Apply that same pattern to cars, furniture, appliances, and electronics, and the lifetime waste easily clears $200,000. $200,000 from boredom. Minimalists apply one simple standard. An item is functional until it genuinely cannot perform its purpose anymore. Boredom is not failure. Wanting the new version is not failure. The existence of a newer model is not failure. Actual breakdown is failure. Everything else is marketing convincing you to solve a problem you don't have. Rule 4. Create friction for spending and ease for saving. Here is something most financial advice ignores completely. Willpower runs out. Every single day, decision fatigue makes you weaker as the hours pass. Any system that relies on you consistently choosing correctly, especially when you're tired, stressed, or emotional, will eventually fail. Minimalists don't rely on willpower. They engineer their environment. Spending friction looks like this. Remove your saved credit card numbers from online retailers. Delete shopping apps from your phone. Unsubscribe from every promotional email. Impose a 24-hour waiting rule on any non-essential purchase. If you still want it tomorrow, consider it. Most desires for objects disappear within a day if you don't act on them immediately. That single rule eliminates roughly 70% of impulse spending. Saving ease looks like this. Automatic transfer to your investment account the same day your paycheck hits, before you see the money. Keep only a small spending buffer in your checking account. Treat your savings contribution like a fixed bill, not an afterthought. The person who deleted the shopping apps and removed their credit card numbers from Amazon simply cannot impulse buy in that moment. Friction wins where willpower loses. Rule 5. Define what enough looks like before you start earning more. Here is the trap that catches almost every high earner. They never define enough, so no matter how much they make, they keep spending more. Income rises, lifestyle rises with it. The gap between the two never grows. The savings never accumulate. People earning $300,000 feel just as financially anxious as people earning $80,000 because their expectations expanded alongside their income. Minimalists break this cycle by deciding in advance what enough means. Enough home, enough car, enough wardrobe, enough square footage. They write it down and they stop there, even when their income could go further. The person who defines enough at $60,000 of annual spending and then starts earning $150,000 has $90,000 a year flowing directly into savings and investments every single year, without sacrificing anything they've decided actually matters. The person earning the same $150,000 but constantly redefining enough upward might save almost nothing. Same income. Completely different financial trajectory. The finish line is the difference. Without defining enough, you are running a race with no end. With it, additional income stops buying more stuff and starts buying freedom. Rule 6. Measure your wealth by options, not objects. Most people measure wealth by what they have, the size of the house, the car in the driveway, the visible markers. Minimalists measure wealth differently. They measure it by what they can choose. Can you leave a job that's destroying your health without panic? Can you take 3 months off to handle a family emergency? Can you say no to an opportunity that pays well but costs you your values? Can you retire before you're forced to? These choices are only available to people who've built real margin between their income and their expenses. The person earning $200,000 but spending $195,000 has almost no options. They are chained to their income, one disruption away from crisis. The person earning $80,000 but spending $45,000 has extraordinary options. They can absorb disruption, take calculated risks, and make decisions based on what they actually want, not what they can barely afford. Every purchase you make is not just an exchange of money for an object. It is a trade of future options for present possessions. The question worth asking before every significant spend is this: is this thing worth reducing my ability to make free choices about my own life? Sometimes the answer is yes. Most of the time, if you're honest with yourself, it isn't. Here is what nobody tells you about owning less and saving more. The relationship runs in both directions. Owning less creates more money. But having more money also makes owning less feel natural. When your savings account is growing and your investments are compounding, the psychological hunger that drives most spending begins to dissolve. You don't need the stuff to feel secure, because your bank account is already telling you the story you use to need possessions to tell. The person in that second apartment, earning 52,000, sitting on 18 months of savings, didn't get there through exceptional income. They got there through exceptional clarity about what actually matters. That clarity is available to you right now, at whatever income you currently earn. The only question is whether you want to own your possessions, or whether you're comfortable letting your possessions own you.